Hello all, Alison here. Welcome back to Words and Pictures for a few minutes of fun. I'm just hopping on for a quick one today, really. Just a little embellishment idea, how I use leftovers or backgrounds to create myself just little embellishments I can have and keep, as I do with my labels in a little tin. And yeah, some of it's using these little glass beads, which you've seen me use before. And some of it is just the simplicity of a circular hole punch. And I've got a couple of the salty watercolor backgrounds we created the other day. Now, some of these I definitely want to keep as whole backgrounds to use for making ATCs or maybe backgrounds in art journals. But some of them I can't really see myself using whole, but I can see where there are little elements within it that would look amazing as part of a glass bead. So one of those that I sort of pulled out, maybe that one as well, is this one here, where I just think there are some amazing little textures up the top here, which it would be great to just have as a little focus. When I'm using this, you can use white acrylic glues, normal white acrylic glues, because they do dry clear, but I have a sort of internal preference for using something like the Ink Glossy Accents, which is already clear, so that as you use it and glue with it, you know that what you see is what you get. And it does also glue immediately, so that it will stay put. So I think I'm grabbing that. I quite like these little dark salt crystals here, where it really looks as though the salt crystal is still in place, but it isn't. It's completely smooth. It's gone. If you missed these salty watercolor backgrounds, I will link to those in the description below so that you can take a look at that. Beautiful technique. Love it. Makes me very happy. And then I sort of I like that bit there. So these glass beads are mostly sold in sort of home deco stores. I think they're intended for using in flower vases maybe with dried flower stems or some such thing. I think that's enough on there. The other thing I always do when I've got these out and I'm doing this is I will put some onto both plain and gessoed book pages, because I love how you just get those glimpses of text coming through. So I'll always grab a little bit of texty stuff while I'm here. And then the other thing I hang on to are when I've been die cutting, I die cut leaves with that one. That's a video that you can watch as well. But I never throw away these bits, and it's mid to late August now, so autumn's not far away. So I just thought it would be really great to grab a couple of these autumnal backgrounds. It'll give me just some really nice embellishments that are going to tone in with autumn creations coming up. So I've still got summer going on over here, no shadow of a doubt. We're quite lucky here in the Czech Republic. Well, our spring comes very late, but our summer tends to wind on into September, October. So like so that's those backgrounds. That's some of that. And then the other thing with all of these backgrounds, if I've got some really interesting background textures, that's another thing I will very often grab. See, that one's got book text and inky texture. Quite like that bit there. Might grab that with a bit of glass. With all of these, I've been sort of drawn to bubbles lately. I've always been drawn to bubbles, little bubbles of happiness, little bubbles of hope. And so again, if you don't want to go all the way to a glass bead, oh yeah, this is another thing I sometimes do. So I've got this quite cool tape. Just gluing one of these over some design tape will also give you an extra little boost to your embellishment. But simple as, if I don't want to do the glass bead thing, if I'm making a project that can't take something that dimensional, we'll do some trimming of these in a minute. If I can't manage something that dimensional, I will always keep these bits of background, because I can just cut little bubbles out of them that are just going to be beautiful accents on a journal page, on a tag, on anything like that. And they're exciting and dynamic. If there's a bit you can't reach with your hole punch, I mean, I quite like that inkiness there, so I'm going to grab that. I keep these open so that I just get my embellishment straight out. For the most part, I want the embellishment as well as the hole. Sometimes I want the hole, but quite often I want the embellishment. So if you can't reach the bit you're after, it's as simple as trim so that you've got it at the edge. And if you want to just double check you're getting the whole circle, that's why I'm turning it over, to see that I've got a full punch. That might not be possible there. I'm going to have some edges, but that's also cool because I can just make sure that that goes on the edge of a project where it's not going to show up as a whole. What else? Oh yeah, no. So my recent ephemera stamp designs, so that's these, came out with PaperArtsy vintage advertisements. These have also got amazing little details that I like just picking. I love getting her face framed in a glass bubble. It's just that kind of little magic extra ingredient that can that can excite the eye. I might leave this lying down so that it's not going. There she is. There she is, just captured. Oh, it's stuck to my thumb. And I just love that just brings her into focus. And I might even use that as a whole element. So I think for now, I'm not going to cut out that bauble as a bauble. I'm going to cut out that whole embellishment, that whole advertisement. And that might be the thing that goes onto the project, because I think that's really cute and quirky and delightful. Not doing it terribly carefully because you can see what I'm up to there. Of course, if you stamp in black, that'll be much more prominent, but you know me, I prefer my stamping. So I also just capturing individual letters can be really quite fun, or something nice and texty like that. So with the book text, it's pretty random where I stick them down, but here I'll do some looking for what's the thing I really want to be able to see. So there's 3 different sizes of text. 3 different sizes of text in that little bubble now, and that one probably I will cut out as it is. Let's just do that for now. What else? Where else? Oh, there's some nice autumn colours. So those, where I haven't maybe been able to fit a whole leaf anymore, I can still get myself a lovely circle out of. A little bite out of that circle because I didn't check behind to see if I had enough space. So this one, again, I'm going to need to trim so that I can get to the solid places. Let's turn it over. This one's got some shimmer on. That's going to be amazing to just catch the eye on a project. Let's do a couple of small ones. Where's my little hole punch? There it is. Let's grab maybe that. So yeah, when you're using a cutout like this, you can sometimes find that it's snagging on some of the other leafy bits. But it's just giving me gorgeous little bits and bobs that I'm going to be able to use in upcoming creations. And sometimes if the mojo is missing, or you've got major deadlines in the way, which I've got at the moment, this is a lovely way just to take a break from whatever it is you're working on and give yourself a little bit of prep time for future creations. I think they're even cute when they've got, you know, a little bit of stuff missing. That can be a really funky detail. Look at that glowing red. So I can't remember when we made these leaves. I'm assuming it's last autumn. So these backgrounds have been sitting around for, yeah, getting on for a year. But yeah, if you've got space to keep these background papers, do it, because there will always be, you can always get yourself down to almost nothing with these kinds of little games. I really want a little bit of this blue one here. I think there's blue and brown here. Have I got enough for a big circle in there? Not quite. Let's have a little one. There we go. Come here. See, that's what I mean about it snagging. So just watch out for that. Oh, that's a thick bit of card. Just made it. Can I get another blue one out? Yes, I can. So it's the randomness of these that is really so delightful as well. And you can see that I'm going to have delights to play with. That'll get me a big one. There we go. But I don't want that white background in the way. Let's grab you in there. Lovely. Great. So let's just show you trimming a couple of these. I would think at least these must be dry by now. So it's as simple as a little trim round. I'm not going to go too broad, because I can always use this for die cutting. I'll almost certainly die cut some of the Tim Holtz bird silhouettes. I can now with my new flower silhouettes. You don't have to stamp and cut. With your flower silhouettes, you can always cut yourself something juicy out of a background. But sometimes it's as simple as little bubbles of colour, little bubbles of text will really get you. Something delightful to put on a project. Unique, because nobody else will have stuck that particular glass bauble to that particular stamped background or salty background. Nobody else will have hole punched that exact bit of book text, so that what you've got is something that is yours and yours alone to play with and design with and add detail to your project. So a very quick little dive on today for that little bit of embellishment exploration, but I hope it's given you some ways to play over the course of the coming crafty week. I'm just going to say again, if you haven't yet seen the announcement about Wanderlust 2026, do take a look at that video, which I'll also link below. It's coming up with me as a teacher on Wanderlust 2026. Details about how to put your name on the waiting list are in the video that I'll link below. And it's just the waiting list for now. So what have you got to lose? Oh, that is pure magic, isn't it? Those little magical details just giving us some delight. Oh, I want a couple of hole punches of this as well. Thank you, as always, for your company on this creative journey. Short and sweet today, back as it was in the early days of a few minutes of fun. Genuinely, just a few minutes of fun to fill in time between other things that I'm busy with. But I am so delighted, as always, to have your company on this creative journey. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today's episode. Do subscribe if you're not already. And happy crafting all.